Hi everyone, my name is Jade Calver. I own and operate Calver and Associates Canadian Immigration Services. We're a full-service immigration firm located in the heart of Oshawa, Ontario. Today I'll be starting my three-part series concerning temporary resident visas and addressing common reasons for refusals and how to strengthen those applications to avoid those refusals. Today I'll be covering proof of ties to your home country and how you can show those in your application for temporary residency in Canada, be that a TRV, a study permit, or a work permit, and why those things are important, and what kind of evidence you can show to prove that you do have ties to your home country. So Immigration Canada asks for proof of ties to your home country. It's a criteria that an immigration officer has to evaluate when looking at your application. You'll notice that online when you're applying for one of these permits, they don't actually specifically ask for it, but it's an underlying factor that is looked at when assessing your application. So they're looking at your work experience, what you've been doing for the last few years, everything that you answer in your application forms. That informs the officer's decision and makes them decide, should I approve this application? Do they have ties to their home country, or is it not strong enough? And those of you who have had refusals will know that this is a very common reason for refusal, is the lack of ties to the home country. So we do need to, especially in more complicated cases, so maybe you're older, maybe there's some gaps in your employment history, we really do need to address proof of ties to your home country. And I like to address them up front to avoid a refusal altogether. This is also evidence that you can provide if you have a refusal, and then you need to address those reasons for refusal in your new application. Why Immigration Canada asks for these ties to your home country is that they want to see that you have something to go back to in your home country. If you have no hope of a job, you have no money in your home country, and you're coming to Canada and it's your only hope in life, when you're entering as a temporary resident, the Act and regulations dictate that you have to be entering just temporarily. So even if your goal is that of permanent residency, you need to prove to the officer that you're just entering temporarily for now. So it's really good to declare this in an application, and that you do have something to go back to in your home country if for whatever reason you're unable to get permanent residency. So in terms of what we like to show as evidence in your application, one of the strongest ties to your home country is your proof of assets. So that can include bank accounts. I always include bank accounts. Most of the visa offices do ask for this. So we like to see bank accounts with a significant sum of money in it in your name. A lot of my clients will say, well, it's in my spouse's name, that's okay. We also like to show family money. So what kind of assets does your family have? As far as assets, so a copy of your home title agreement. So if you own property in your home country, that's a really great way of showing not only that you have some financial stability in your home country, but in addition to that, that you have somewhere to live if you do have to go back to your home country. In addition to that, we've had success with providing a sworn affidavit showing your family in your home country as well as their assets. So a sworn affidavit listing your spouse, if you have one, parents, siblings, extended family members, as well as what they do for a living and where they live. Even better if they have a family business that you can provide information for. It just shows that there's some family wealth and something to go back to in your home country in the case that you do have to return. In addition to that, so evidence that you're leaving a spouse or child behind if you have one. So obviously if you're coming to Canada and you're leaving a spouse and a child behind, that way we're showing that the ties to your home country outweigh those ties to what you have in Canada. I've already said copies of your bank statements. Again, a lot of my clients, the wealth, especially if they're young, will be more in their family's name. It's also very cultural in some families that the wealth is kept with the more elderly people in the family. So again, if you're showing family wealth, if you don't have any wealth of your own, that really helps to show that there is stability in your home country. Again, if you can't provide any of the above, show the evidence of job prospects in your home country. As far as employment, the best thing to show is that you have a job and that employer says that you can come back to that job after you've been in Canada for a couple of years. But in the absence of that, we can also include proof of your job prospects in that country. So statistics, if you're a web developer, you can show statistics on average salaries for web developers in your home country, what that salary affords in your home country. So maybe $40,000 Canadian is not that much in, Toronto, for example, but maybe in other cities in the world, it will afford you a fairly comfortable lifestyle for both you and your family. Any kind of monetary bonds that you've paid to the government to show that you have to go back to that country are helpful. And lastly, this is especially important for TRVs. If you include a prepaid return ticket to your home country, you can buy a refundable one, but if it's prepaid, then again, it shows that you do plan to go back at the end of your stay. So as you can see, there are many different types of evidence that we can provide, and you can see why it's so important that you show proof of your ties to your home country. So if you are providing this information, we always say to explain what you're providing. Sworn affidavits are especially strong because it counts as a legal document. If you have multiple ties to your home country, make sure you include all of them in the online application. So again, don't just follow the document checklist. It's important to provide these in an application. If you have any questions about how to strengthen your application for temporary residency, we're happy to help. We're online at calverimmigrationservices.com.